Alright, hey guys! So, this video is going to be a quick video. So I'm going to tell you a story, then I'm going to tell you a hypothetical story, and then I'm going to tell you another hypothetical story, and then they're all going to click, and then this light bulb's going to go off, and you're going to be like, oh wow, okay, yeah. Because that's what happened to me, so hopefully it'll happen to you the same way. We'll see. Okay, so, this is the real story. When we were little, we were living in Sunland, California, and we had invited some family members over the house. And so my parents cook like Mexican food. I think we had tacos, I'm not sure, but cilantro was involved, okay? There was cilantro there to put on your tacos or to put on whatever that we had. So we're sitting there, we're eating, and one of the family members, she was an older one, and me or Felicia had said something. I'm not sure what it was, but we said something, and she looks over at me or Felicia. She goes, oh, really? Like that. And she opens her mouth up really, like, you know, super wide, and there's like these huge pieces of cilantro like on her teeth. And we, like me, my brother, my two sisters, and my dad, literally, and my mom, she plays it off really well, but we really can't contain ourselves when something is funny. So we all like look at our dad, and we're just like trying to hold in laughter. So we're all like, you know, trying to hold in laughter because it was so funny, because she's like, oh really? And this huge piece of cilantro is on there. So from then on, we've always kind of like made fun of that, but if something's in someone's teeth, like something green is in someone's teeth, it's an oh really. So we're like, oh my god, they had an oh really like the whole time. So we call it an oh really, right? So something in your teeth is called an oh really because of what happened. So let's just say, this is the hypothetical story. So let's say your youth group has planned a meet and greet night, right? And this is a night where all of your youth group gets together, and you guys invite like people from like your life just outside of church. And you back in a church, and you guys come together and you just meet each other. You just like get to know each other, and you get to know some of the youth members who maybe are new and you haven't really got to know yet. So this night is just dedicated to just getting to know each other, okay? And you're gonna meet a bunch of new people, and it's gonna be this huge meet and greet for your youth group. So so you guys this is Friday night, and so you're like super excited to go, but you and your friends, which our youth group ranges, which almost every youth group ranges from like 13 to 35, right? So you kind of have like, you're all friends, because my youth group, we're all friends together, but you kind of have like your age group friends, right? That you just like hang out with, because you're not, I'm 25, I'm not going to go like actually hang out with one of the 13-year-olds. It's just kind of weird. So I have two really good friends of mine in the youth group that we just like are always like hanging out. So their names are Alyssa and Amaryllis. So me, Alyssa, in this hypothetical story, you're ready to go, but you and a couple of your friends want to go get a bite to eat first. You guys want to try this new Mexican restaurant, okay? And so you and your Amaryllis and your Alyssa go out, and you guys go try this new Mexican restaurant. And you guys go, and you're eating, and there's cilantro in your tacos and all that, and you guys are just eating and all that. So you guys are ready to go to the youth night, to this meet and greet, and you're on your way there, and you get there, and you're meeting all these people, right? So you've gotten there, you guys have eaten, you had a good time. You guys kind of check each other's hair, you know how you do that as friends and all that, like, am I cool? And then you get to the meet and greet, and you meet everybody, and you are just a social butterfly. I mean, you have met everyone, you have made such great impressions, you like did such a good job, and you're like super excited because you met really cool people, and you're like just stoked, right? But you met everybody, and you're just like, okay, I have to use the restroom. So you go to the bathroom, and as you know, us girls, we always like look in the mirror first. So we look in the mirror, and you're fixing your hair, and you're just like, oh, let me check my teeth. So you go like this, check your teeth, and there's this huge oh really on your teeth, okay? And your stomach drops, because you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is huge. There's no way that no one saw this. Like, everyone saw this big oh really on my teeth, and you're just like, you're having all these emotions. First, you're like, there's my dog. First, you're like, oh my gosh, like, I look ridiculous. And then you're like, oh, no one told me, right? And you're thinking your Alyssa and Amaryllis didn't tell you that there's an oh really on your teeth, right? And you're just like so upset, and you're like, why wouldn't they tell me? Oh my gosh. So you get it off of your teeth, and you're like thinking, okay, what do I do? Do I go out there? Do I address the situation? Do I say, hey guys, I know you all saw this huge thing on my teeth. I took it out, but I just wanted to kind of talk about it, you know, just to make it not awkward, even though that would make it even more awkward. Guys, this is my dog, Chiquita, one of my dogs. We have two. She's a Chihuahua. She's an applehead. She's freaked out right now because someone just came over. And yeah, so this is Chiquita. She's so cute. She sleeps with me every night, and I love her to death. Anyways, okay, so you have this O'Reilly, and you're like, what do I do? Do I go? Stop it. So you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? Do I go out there and do I address this O'Reilly that was in my teeth? This piece of cilantro that's in my teeth? Or do I just like leave it alone? Anyways, you're going through a lot of emotions and you're just so like bothered because your friends didn't tell you. And so you go out there, you're like, dude, why didn't you guys tell me there was this huge thing in my teeth? Same night, same situation. You're going to this meet and greet. Your friends decide to go out, have dinner, all that stuff. But this huge O'Reilly, right? But it's like in your insides. You have this major attitude. You are raunchy. And not just that night, but you are always just kind of attitude-y. You always kind of just are kind of unapproachable. And you're about to go to this meet and greet, you get there and you've met everybody and you've made your impression on everybody. And your impression is someone who is really unapproachable, kind of doesn't really care how people think about, you know, how they're coming across, is a little bit rude, kind of says whatever is on your mind, doesn't think about it. So you've met everybody, but you've met them with this attitude. Just this little attitude where people just can't quite get along with you very well. But you go about your night and you're fine and you're cool and you don't expect anyone to tell you that you're wrong. You don't expect anyone to tell you, hey, you have an attitude, you need to chill, you need to change it. You just go on with your night and you're okay with the impressions that you left on people. You're okay with what people might think of you. You really don't care too much, right? Now, you're not focused. You're not upset because your friends didn't tell you, hey, you're having an attitude, but you're okay with it. But let's just say your friends do pull you aside and say, okay, Olivia, you're kind of rude. Like you're a little unapproachable, you're a little bit rude, you have this way about you where you just say whatever you feel and you don't really care about what people think about you. And they pull you aside and they tell you that, but you're upset because how dare them tell you that, right? So the point I'm trying to make is we'd be so upset and bothered if someone knew, if someone knew that there was a big O'Reilly on your teeth and didn't tell you. But we can care less if there's a big O'Reilly in your spirit and no one tells you. We don't want anybody to tell us. But we have to get to the point, you guys, where we're okay with someone telling us, look, dude, you're rude, you have this way about your personality, you've got to fix it because no one likes to be around you. That's a hard pill to swallow. That's a hard thing to be okay with someone telling you that. But we have got to get to the point where we're okay with someone telling us that. We have to be okay with someone pointing out our flaws and saying, look, this is something that I've noticed about you. People have said that you're kind of rude. People have said that you speak before you think. People have said that they feel like you don't care about the way that you're coming across. You say whatever on your mind because you feel like you just want to be honest. We have to care more about the way we're actually being perceived and not the way we look. Now, obviously, you don't want to walk around with an O'Reilly in your teeth, but that should be the same way as you should feel the same way about your attitude. You don't want to walk around with an O'Reilly in your spirit. You don't want to walk around with this attitude about you where no one they just like they can't get along with you. There are things about us so our personalities are fine. God made us the way we are for a reason, right? So if you have my personality, if you're just kind of, I don't know, goofy, I don't know, whatever my personality is to you guys, if you're like me, right? God made me that way. But if you're different, like my sister Mariah, she's different than me. She's like super just like, all the time. And that's okay. And God made her that way. God made me this way. But there are things about our personality that we actually have to change. So if you're a very honest person and you're the person who is going to say what's on your mind, right? That's just how you are, which is a good thing sometimes. But if you're always saying what's on your mind and you're hurting people, that's something that you need to fix, right? And if you're an introvert, you need to fix the attitude you put off because you're an introvert. You don't like being around people. There's an attitude you put off, right? If you're just super confident about yourself, but you're too confident, you're cocky, and you come off as someone who's just all about themselves, you need to change that about yourself. And you need to be comfortable with someone pulling you aside and saying, hey, so-and-so, you're kind of rude and you really hurt my feelings because I feel like you always say what you want to say and you don't care about the repercussions. You don't care about how people feel when you say those things. So I just really want us to look at our inside growth more important than anything else. our attitudes and the way that we are perceived is so important in the kingdom of God. We have got to represent Jesus in every way that we can. And for me, you guys, I shared my testimony the last video, but I didn't get to say everything because I mean, obviously we'd be there for hours if I gave every detail. But when I was a teenager, I was a hot stinking mess. Like, honestly, I was rude. I said whatever I wanted to say. I didn't care about the way I was coming across to people. I felt like I'm just being honest. So what? Like, this is who I am. Accept it. I would always get in like arguments with some of the women in our church, and there's a couple women in our church who are still there who can tell you, yeah, Olivia was a hot mess, because I really didn't care. And so it got to the point where it was so bad, my attitude was so foul, and I didn't want and people would tell me, but I didn't care, I didn't change it. It got to the point where some of our youth members back then, this was years ago, back then actually had to go to our youth pastor and tell him, hey, we don't like being around Olivia. Okay, so they went to my youth pastor and they were like, we can't really be around Olivia. We don't want to come anymore because Olivia's like really, really rude. She feels like she knows everything. She's just kind of like bossy and all that stuff. This is a true story, you guys. This is real. Like, I was so stinking rude, but I didn't listen. And my youth pastor actually pulled me aside. And mind you, my dad was then and is now the pastor of the church. And so imagine your youth pastor, who's not a part of your family, pulls you aside, has a meeting with you and your mom about your attitude. Terrible. I was like 17 when that happened, when I was pulled into a room and 17. And I was like so mad. I wasn't happy about it. I didn't leave that meeting thinking, you know what, I need to change. I left that meeting thinking, how dare he? Like, what? Like, who would tell? What? He has no place telling me these things, right? I didn't want to fix myself. And so I had a long journey of not getting along with people and just being so snobby and rude and just ridiculous. But it took me a while to realize that I have to change. I have to care about what people think about my insides. I want people to say, when people talk about me, I want them to say, Olivia is so kind, she's so gentle, she's so patient, she's loving, she's vulnerable. I want those things to come out. I don't want it to be, Olivia's kind of like rude. I mean, she's nice, but she's like, she just cares about herself. I don't know, she's selfish, or she's just really like overly confident. Like, I don't want those things to be said about me. I want good things to be said about me. And it's a journey, and I always say this, it's a journey, you guys, but there is a place where God wants us all to be. There is a person that God created in the beginning. When we were born, he knew who he wanted us to be. It's our choice if we're gonna be that person. And our goal should be to be that person that God created, that God intended us to be. A good person, a nice person, a kind person. So get on your knees. Get on your knees and say, Lord, search my heart. Take out the things that don't belong. Take out the nasty, foul attitudes that don't belong. Take out whatever makes me rude. Take it out of me because I want to change. Tell God, because you guys, God will show you. I'm telling you, he will show you what to change about yourself. But you have to be at a place where you can accept it. And it's gonna hurt, you guys. You're not gonna want to hear it, and your pride is gonna get really, really high. But we have to fight against that. Allow your pastor, your leaders to pull you aside and say, look, you've got to change this about yourself, and listen to them and change, because it's so much better on the other side. It's so much better when you're a whole person. It's so much better when people can actually say good things about you and not have to say anything about you behind your back. It's a good feeling, and we all need to get there. Men and women, we all need to get there. And yeah, let's change. Let's just change, okay? Okay, I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and stay Christian. And Chiquita loves you too. Nani, say stay Christian. Say stay Christian.
Be the light in the crack, be the one that